Um, this is a tricky subject right here. I'm not sure if how much people got it. Uh, but it's like when it comes to spiritual warfare, once again, it's like binding and loosing and sending these things and commanding them and knowing where to send them. It's mentioned in the Bible, okay? Like, here's one thing. You're supposed to try the spirit and see if it be of God or not. I think that means when it comes to people and what kind of spirit they're carrying, and also when it comes to actual spirits. Like, especially when spirits are manifesting inside of people. And a way to try the spirit is to engage it in a kind of an interrogation and get it to let itself be known by... It'll slip up a little bit and it'll say something weird. And you can tell that that's kind of like it's like either it's a stronghold, you know what I'm saying? Which sometimes demonic oppression can be ideological, where it basically means you've been brainwashed into a certain kind of way of thinking. And it's like hitting a brick wall with people sometimes. It's like this is their limit. You can't get no farther than here, and you ain't gonna fix nothing unless we get past this somehow. And it's like, it's hard. It's difficult. That it says those kind only come out through much prayer and fasting. You know what I'm saying? And much intercession. Like I think it talks about one of the sons of Jacob who had an affliction because of a sin, and it took a year of his father praying for him to get the affliction to end. And I'm just saying, there's one way this thing kind of works. And Jesus could just command them out, and he commanded them to the swine. Yeah, they actually asked to go to the swine, and Jesus was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Do that. And that's what they did. But in the Bible, it talks about they're hidden under jagged rocks. There's one place that fallen angels were sent to. Another place, like jagged rocks and desert places, like, in a way, they're always hidden in places where humans don't go much, or like inside of mountains, inside of mountain caves, inside of deep crevices into the earth, by volcanoes, by crazy spots by the waters too, because there's demons also bound under the water for sure, like under the ocean, right? There's some that are in the ocean. There's some that are under rivers. That's places that they're bound to. And what are they bound in? Unbreakable chains. You know what I'm saying? One demon specifically doesn't like iron for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like demons do have preferences, and there's certain things they just don't like. Like, it's got some kind of resonance or frequency or something, or it reminds them of something they just really don't like. You know what I'm saying? And they're like tormented by the thought of it. And if you, in a way, it's like you gotta remind them sometimes about certain things, and they're just like any person. If you psych them out, you know what I'm saying, it'll have an effect, but I'm not sure if it'll last forever, if it's a one-time deal, or if you got to keep fucking contending over every day, which it seems like to me. It's like a daily freaking battle against different principalities and different strategies. It's like as soon as you figure out how to negate a certain like bad behavior, look, the devil always figures out a new way around it to create another problem that takes the place of the last one. A new flying monkey. You know what I'm saying? Gets thrown out there in the mix to reinvigorate the struggle. But another place, outer darkness, is another place that it's rumored that these things are sent, like the roaming dromedaries or something like that. It's mentioned in the Bible, and wandering stars reserved for blackness forever. And if you look at the sky, you know, in a way, outer darkness is out there, and it's like a place where you're separated from everything and stuck way far away. You know what I'm saying? Weird. So there's the water in the rocks, with everlasting chains. Angels also help thwart, and they help battle the demons if you have a greater understanding of it. But this ain't angel worship. This is angel knowledge, and I guess it's more like a more spiritual language that we somehow have been separated from, but you shouldn't go to the occult to learn these things, because the nature of demons, like in the Testament of Solomon where some of this stuff comes from, it's like they're all liars, and they can give you rewards, they can give you treasure, they can do work for you, they can build you a house in a way. If you found the right demon and had the right, sparked up the right, what is that called, exorcism with them, which means to make an agreement with the demon. Kind of in the same way, the demon said, "Please let me go into the pigs," and Jesus was like, do that, and that was it casted him out. But look, there still was that's an example of an agreement. It's like you leave this man and you can go in them. A lesser life form, and these things instantly went and committed suicide. But it's really crazy, man, this subject here, and it's really dumbed freaking down in a way how prevalent it is in other texts and other scriptures. Like in Jubilees has a lot. Jubilees and Enoch, just first Enoch. That's the only Enoch I'll F with, because it seems like, from what I heard anyway, the other Enoch books were wrote like after Christ's death, and they're basically like Kabbalistic kind of add-ons from certain information that is extracted from the book of Enoch, because there's names of angels in it. And these are the fallen angels. And for some reason, no one has gave us the names of the angels of God that contend against these things. Even though it says Emmanuel controls all of this, and Jesus is one of his code names is Emmanuel. And if that's a bad terminology, you say code name Emmanuel, God be with us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if that's being disrespectful, sorry. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's funny because you see this was already outlined in this Testament of Solomon, and it mentions like a similar, it's like the demons could prophesy, and they prophesied of Jesus coming and casting out Legion in that situation. So if the right people had the right knowledge, they would have seen that was a fulfillment of that prophecy. But that book isn't written in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But it might be apocryphal. But it talks about them being buried in jagged rocks, and you got like, look, for instance, the pyramid. There's pyramid all over the planet, and they are complex burial tombs. What if they're not? Some of them ain't burial tombs. What if they're prisons? And by people constantly messing with them, and the real reason why the mummy's curse struck is because Azazel's in there, man. You know what I'm saying? And under the Euphrates one day, these other angels are going to come creeping out. And look, it's in the Testament of Solomon that these things are hidden in, and that some of them got released in a way and got free again. I think to an extent. So I mean, in the same way that these angels are coming out of the Euphrates River. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that's the three unclean spirits too. If they're somehow related to these fallen angels hidden under the river, they're Euphrates. And then this one demon says, "Please don't bind me to water." You know what I'm saying? So, it's weird. What are these things? Are they just ghosts? Like, you know what I'm saying? Phantoms? Or are they actually fucking, like, look, if you catch them in a certain state, like they're actually physical, like a jinn. A jinn is another supposedly kind of entity, a shapeshifter. And it's like basically will grant wishes for you. That's at least the mythology behind it. And like when the Indians say a manado, what if to some extent some of those things could be jinn? You know what I'm saying? And once again, for trade-offs, they'll give you knowledge. And that is in Jubilees, it talks about that the fucking these evil spirits are out. And they gotta serve man. And that's a commandment by God. But if man doesn't understand that, he has no awareness of it, these things get to operate from from a blind area. Because I mean, most people they'll say you got a mental condition if you're actually really getting afflicted by one of these demonic entities. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to tell the difference between crazy and demon possessed. I mean, or demon influenced at least, because not everyone's got full blown possession. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just influenced or afflicted. You know what I'm saying? But some people might go full blown possession and do some babe shit type stuff. But you know, I'm no expert on none of this stuff right here. I'm not an expert, but look, my spiritual understanding, and my little database inside of my brain, my little dossiers. You know, I'm filling them up with information here and there, and then I'm also out in the field, kind of trying to work the. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds real magic-like and mystical, but it's really not like that, man. It's just kind of like it's like an understanding of things, and it's I don't know, man. I guess it ain't for everyone, man. But there's a lot of stuff out here that can just be gleaned, man, from like, for one, not only are you using your eyes and your ears and you're using all of your senses, and then you're actually using also the you're trying to tap into using the spirit and all your senses at the same time, and you're trying to be honest, sincere about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not out here to fucking mystify no one or anything like that. No, I'm trying to learn for myself. If you want to learn alongside and I can kick some notes at you, or you can kick some notes at me, you know what I'm saying? That's all good. This look, it says this, you know, the Holy Spirit will lead you into all truth. So that's really what you need to learn how to get some of that in your life, and it will crack the freaking window open and let some light in on these type of dark, obscure dark arts type occultic, esoteric subjects. There's a big part of this esoteric stuff that is really bad, but you need to understand some of the esoterics needs to be understood for the sake of the good, so that these people can't hide behind lies and craftiness and dark sayings. Not to everyone. Someone should be able to see through their ruse and call them on it, and back it up with scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And then if you really seek it out in life, you'll have empirical understanding, which in a way, empirical leads up to faith, because I've experienced this and I've seen this, that it's true, and it's definitely reiterated in the Word of God, and I see it in life too. So that's not the blind faith. That's like, look, no, this stuff is real. It's like you see things that can't be explained by common standards. You know what I'm saying? But look, this should be normal. In if you try to study, you know, it not only as a historical text and a spiritual text, but also kind of like it's like a art of war for people who are trying to contend against the dark side in a way. And it's by doing kind acts and operating out of love, and like, you know, you put yourself kind of in harm's way for the sake of others. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it real. And I mean, that's really what it's like. You just keep it real, like really real. And that's not easy to do in this world. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's the type of stuff that's been bouncing around inside of me, man, and stirring me up in different ways. And yeah, I've been out here, you know, wading through the waters, man, and it gets murky.